Next up, taking a peek at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Chevy Equinox. So, very straightforward here, but going to learn everything that you need to know about all the buttons and how everything works. So first thing I'm going to point out, the steering wheel inside of the Equinox is a manual telescoping. So just in between your legs there, so right in the middle of the steering wheel column, you move it in, out, up and down to find that perfect position for you. Once you do, click it, lock it back into place. Very straightforward. So we've got a few different pads that are available here. Pad on the left-hand side, this is going to be for your cruise control. So this one has the adaptive cruise, which is why we have so many different buttons that are available there. So as you can see there, tons of different buttons that are available. This one is going to turn the adaptive cruise control system on. Distance indicator, so how close or far away do you want to be from the vehicle that's in front of you. This cancels out the cruise if you're going. Once you get up to speed, you're going to set, and then you can either increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. So very straightforward there. This is going to be for your heated steering wheel, so you can easily toggle the wheel on or off, which is kind of nice. I like that it's kind of like caked in and built right into the steering wheel, and it is heated all the way around, which is definitely a nice thing. This one is your lane keeping system. So what that's going to do is if you are driving along, it recognizes the lane markings. You start to veer over into a lane without signaling, and that's going to go yellow, and then it's going to nudge you back into your lane. So it's essentially going to keep you perfectly balanced to a degree. Like it's not a full lane centering system, but it still is pretty good at the same time. And you can toggle that system on or off very easily. Then along the right-hand side, series of other buttons that are available. This one, hang up on a phone call, or you can mute out your audio as well, so you can see current audio volume. Get to the audio in a second because it's kind of neat inside of this thing. And then you've also got a voice command prompt. So you'd be able to do things like change songs, radio stations. Oh, that gets rid of this. You could change songs, radio stations, navigate using your voice and things like that. And one really cool thing, I love this about the Chevy Equinox, is that as you adjust that, it also goes right through the cluster and lets you know what else you can do as you go. So you can say different things.
Find a phone. Pair or connect your phone and try again.
No, thank you. So we've also got a few other things there. So you can see what's going on with audio, navigation.
Audio command, please.
So it's really cool. So you've got the flexibility of seeing what you can and can't do there. Now, the audio is an interesting one because we can easily mute out or adjust from there, but adjusting the audio is actually done right through the back. So you can see there, it's bumping the audio up and down, and that's on the right-hand side there. Along the left-hand side, you've got the flexibility of being able to jump between different presets, or you've also got the flexibility of being able to seek. So let's say if we're on a station there, so 94.9, Great Durham radio station. If you wanted to seek, you can also just do a press and hold of the button. And watch that. So you can see there, so we're seeking that way instead. So it's a kind of a neat one that you've got available. So you can go plus minus this way. It's not a full seek. It essentially goes like from one station to one station at a time. But it is really nice that you've got the flexibility to be able to do that. Like I said, adjust your volume very simply on top of that. Stick on the left-hand side is going to be for your high beams, turn signals, things like that. There is a little auto mode button there as well. So with auto high beams turned on, what's going to happen is if your high beams are on, the vehicle recognizes somebody in front of you, it's going to dim your high beams. And then what happens is as you pass them, it's automatically going to bring your high beams back up again. So pretty good safety setting. Stick along the right side, you can adjust what's going on with your front windshield wipers. On the very tip of that stick, you can adjust in order to get your rear wiper going as well. You're going to pull in towards you for the rear. For the front, you're going to push away in order to get your rear windshield wiper fluid going as well. So very straightforward. Now, let's move you in to go through the little cluster screen. And then as I'm moving through the cluster, just going to be using the pad off to the right-hand side there. So let's go through, show you everything that you need to know. Tachometer off to the left-hand side, speedometer off to the right, your current fuel level, and then your engine temperature. And then you've got a series of different pages that are available inside of the cluster. Now, there are technically 2 different cluster screens that are available. So it's either going to be this 4.2 inch, but there's also a slightly smaller 3.5 inch screen that's available as well. But as we navigate through, you've got a few different options. So this essentially is going to be your home screen. And as you can see there, it's going to let us know what different systems and things like that are currently activated. Moving back, you've got the info button, and that's going to be a ton of different pages. One cool thing is that through the settings icon there, you could technically adjust what information is showing, but we'll get to that one in a second. So on a default here, you can see a couple things that are available. What's currently going on with your road speed, your current vehicle speed, basic menu, and then you've also got directions you're facing, current kilometers, and then what gear you're currently in. But you press this, and you can also turn your speed sign on or off. So if you go back out, no longer there. So you can adjust what's going on with that individual screen. And then when you're in a sub-screen, you can either go down to exit, or you just press the left button in order to hop out of that menu. Moving down, your trip counter. So if you wanted to reset, you just press the plus button there, and that resets your trip. Fuel counters, your oil life, your tire pressure, your air filter, what's going on with your fuel economy. Honestly, like, it's terrible right now just because I'm like sitting here. We're doing a review on the inside of the vehicle, but typically that's pretty solid. Like best 6.3. It's kind of nice. You can reset and look at distance and things like that. Current speed, so your average speed for the vehicle, you can reset as well if you want to. Let's go back down. So you've got a timer that's available there too, which is kind of nice. So really neat. So if you're going to kind of time yourself out to see how long it takes you to get from A to B, or you're doing basic lap timing and things like that, you've got that available as an option. Follow distance from the vehicle that's in front of you, basic driver assistance, whether or not that's showing, your current battery level, coolant temperature, your trending, so how much fuel you're using on average, and then your current oil pressure as well. Moving out, you can also see what's going on with your audio. By moving through, you can jump between different media, so AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth. If you had a USB stick with MP3s, that would show up as an available option as well. And then you could just adjust out from there. I was just seeking that way too. So you've also got the flexibility of being able to seek. So you can seek out that way too, which is kind of nice. And then moving back, browse media, same idea. You can look at your favorites. That's what I was looking for. Perfect. So you can see all of your different favorites that are available there as well that you've saved out right through the multimedia screen. Moving back out, favorite button setting, whether or not you're going to be seeking or looking at your favorites, and then back out to your basic screen there again. So it's kind of nice that we've got that available as an option and kind of moving through all of our different presets. Next up is navigation, so you can see what's currently going on with your direction, what city you're currently in, and then you can hop into your menu to look at either recent addresses or your favorites. So I was looking at a Tim Hortons earlier, so let's go to that Tim Hortons.
Please proceed to the highlighted road.
Love it. So you can see what's going on with our turn-by-turn directions there. Lets us know what we need to take, or we just press the plus button. You can mute out guidance, look at other recents, favorites.
Route guidance is now finished.
Just cancel the trip and you can see what direction you're currently facing instead. If a phone was connected, you'd be able to make phone calls, see missed calls and things like that. And then looking at a series of settings. So traction stability control. If you wanted to adjust these things out, you've got that flexibility. And one big thing there is that if you wanted to have a little bit more control, like during winter time, like, yeah, we're in an intelligent all-wheel drive vehicle, but having your traction control off when it's slippery out is a great idea. So you do have the flexibility of adjusting these things out if you want. Units, if you wanted to go US versus metric. So you see there, we've jumped out from kilometers to miles instead, and that's the same. So look at what's going on right there on the cluster screen in the middle. But even off to the side there, as we go through our different speed in the speedometer, it goes kilometers versus miles, which is kind of nice. So it gives us a little indication, hey, we're traveling in the States or in Canada. And then this is the big one, so info pages. So remember I was telling you on that little info screen there, we would have the flexibility of adjusting what's showing up. And this is where we go to do it. So do you want the trip 1 counter, 2 counter, oil life, tire pressure? It's like, what information do you want showing there? Yeah, quite a few options. And that's the same thing with the homepage. So the homepage that's available on the very far side, it's like, what information do you want showing up on the homepage? Speedometer, speed signs, time, fuel range, etc. So you had a few options. Speed warning, if you're going a little bit fast. Do you want to have an indication that you're going too fast? Yes, no, your choice. And then you can see what software version you're currently using. So if you want to, that's kind of wild. That is so tiny. I've got good vision, but damn. Oh, well. It's kind of nice that you've got that available though. And then just back to your basic settings there again. So you do have quite a few different options that are available inside of this thing. But I mean, a few highlights, like I said, that I really like. I love that on the outside of the steering wheel, so behind the wheel itself, you can adjust what's going on with your volume or with your settings along the back. Like Dodge vehicles have it, like Dodge, Jeep, etc. So it's cool to really see this inside a GM. So got to give you props there. That's a really cool setting that they've got. I know that's a lot of information, but that's everything you need to know about the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Chevy Equinox.